What's up, guys? My name is Cory, and today we're doing something interesting. It is me versus Suno AI in a drum battle. So I'm pretty much interested in understanding and answering the question of, is AI just going to take over for all drummers? Is it really something that we can't compete with? I think I've been playing drums for about 25 years, and I'm pretty confident in my ability to write drums. So we're going to do two experiments here. First, we're going to do a drum part writing segment where we're going to see who writes the better drum part for a song that I actually wrote last year. We're going to start with the original that I wrote, and then we're going to go in and give Suno 3 tries at trying to write something just drums to add to my song that's going to make it better than what I have already written. I'm sure there are plenty of people and there are plenty of AI, algorithms that could crank out something better, but is it just going to naturally be better than what I wrote right off the bat? Number two, we're going to try and do a drum solo battle. I'm not even sure if AI can write drum solos. I haven't seen anybody really do that. I'm sure if I went through and gave it enough examples and prompts, it could probably learn how to do it, but I'm interested to see if it's going to be able to create anything that would even resemble a drum solo. So I'm going to do a very simple drum solo that I do with my band live. Very, very easy. It's pretty much your basic 30-second drum solo, goes through some cool little stuff. Nothing too crazy, but it'll showcase the kind of the writing ability of a drum solo, the way it builds, the way it crescendos, all of that, and I want to see if Suno can actually create anything similar. So yeah, I wanted to challenge the AI today to see if I'm going to be out of a job in the next few years. So let's check it out. Now, if you guys can, as always, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, like and share the video. I really want to start doing more content like this, so I appreciate you guys stopping by and checking it out. Let me know if you like it down in the comments, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. All right, so we are on the Suno homepage. I've already got my Premier subscription. It's about $30 a month, just so we can kind of play around and see what this thing's capable of. I'm always interested because as a drummer, I've been playing drums for 20-something years. I'm very confident in my ability and my writing, stuff like that. So I'm always interested to see what these websites are going to create, because sometimes I feel like there's certain dynamics, there's certain perspectives as a human being that you're able to put into your music. And I'm not sure that AI has gotten to a point where it really understands that side of it yet. The human aspect, the emotional aspect of what you're doing, not just about making it sound cool, but truly putting in your kind of influence and your style into your music. I think it's a big, big thing that people that make AI music are going to, miss. I think it does a lot with the ability and the knowledge of instrumentation. AI can take from so many different influences, and it already knows all the scales, all the possible combinations. So from a technical standpoint, you can learn a lot. But with this, we're going to do the song first, and then we're going to do the next challenge, which is the drum solo, just to see what it can do with a human aspect. So let's go ahead and jump into the studio. We're going to check this out. I've already uploaded the song we're going to use. I had to play around with this a little bit so that I wasn't wasting time learning this interface or this. It's kind of like an online DAW, which is kind of cool. So we're going to take the drumless track that we played along to earlier, and we're going to add just a drum track. So we're going to go down here. We are going to add drums in the style of rock and metal. And even though mine was a little groovier, obviously the influence was a band like Bill Murray, something that's kind of, I think it's in D major, but it's also a kind of positive sounding song. It's not meant to be super dark or aggressive, even though it is. It's definitely got some down-tuned guitars. It's got kind of a cool riff that's going on there, but it's country influenced. It's meant to just kind of be a poppy, heavy metal riff. So we're going to go ahead and see if it does the same thing with the drums here. I went ahead and put in the BPM. Got to do that ahead of time. And so yeah, we're just doing drums. Now if you wanted to do more tracks, you could add more tracks here, but since we're just challenging the drums here to see kind of what the drums can come up with compared to what I wrote, we're gonna play around with that. So let's see what they end up creating here. to see what we get for the drum track in the studio. Now, it takes a few seconds. The cool part is this doesn't take a super long time. It'll generate two there up next to the stems that we're working with. Normally you get two. So we'll try them both here. We'll kind of see what we get with both of these. So it's giving me the stems here. It's kind of making the drum track. It's kind of showing you the waveforms as they're generating. And now I'm not sure which one this is. I think it's going to give me two options here. So let's just go ahead and check out the very first option. Huh, interesting. Okay, let's check this one out. Very similar. So we're just getting just the track. That's all it generated was just the drum, so it's giving you these two drum tracks here. So let's actually come back into the studio and let's listen to those, or the one that it put in here. Let's listen to that with the song. Okay, very, very interesting. The choices there, it did kind of stick with a similar groove, a similar feel in certain areas. Now, I think I'm doing a little bit more with the cymbals just to keep a little bit of energy, but really it's kind of the same halftime with the snare. So let's go ahead and break this down a little by little. I like kind of what it does here with the intro. And I kind of like how it does this fill that kind of follows the guitar riff. Kind of cool. I actually almost did something like that originally when I was making the song. And I like that it is kind of following my groove. It's kind of got this space here where that little kind of acoustic-y lead is going on in there. And the only thing I don't like is that when you're not bringing the same energy, you're not writing the cymbals. It's kind of more of a quarter note, not an eighth note like I'm playing. So it's not writing as much energy. You're not feeling that. So if you listen to that, it's kind of a ba, ba, ba going on with the cymbal, but I'm doing a ba, 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 ba in my original. So I think it's lending itself to feel a little bit more energetic, a little bit more lifelike. It's just really kind of bringing it to life, really. It's kind of the idea behind doing something like that. So. Now, I do like a little bit of some of the ideas that it's doing here. I don't think it works for this song, but I like that they added kind of a little double at the beginning of the phrase on the second part here, starting from here. And the double bass going into that fill just changes it up a little bit. Now, from here, I believe it kind of does the same. I don't really know what's going on with those cymbals. It's like horror movie sound effects, but interesting. That's what you get on here. So let's check this out. Just adding some double bass to those fills, but really it's not doing anything crazy. It's really just kind of increasing some normal stuff. I mean, it really just is. It's nothing out of the box, nothing too crazy there. I figured with rock and metal it would do something a little bit more, but maybe it's really trying to stick to the riff. Now, I do really like that. I actually do this with a song for my band now that we're writing, where it's a simple riff. It's just two notes, dun 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 dun. But instead of just doing the two, you do three to give it that energy, right? So here, they're trying to add some energy to the drums, and I think that's a pretty cool aspect that the AI is trying to do that. Once again, I don't think it works, especially with the way this is kind of flowing, because it doesn't feel like that's where the energy should be. And they're kind of adding a random quad. I don't know what that little ping sound effect is either. It's like I got a Facebook notification midway through that. That's really interesting. Almost like they wanted to hit a bell, but it was more like a sound effect. I don't know. Yeah, AI was struggling on that. Very interesting. It feels like it did not do great there. So let's just see what happens if we add one more track. So I'm gonna get rid. Actually, I'll get rid of those later. So let's just add this again, right? Let's do something a little different. This time we're gonna go drums. Let's just go rock, since this really isn't a metal song. Rock style drums, create. I think I need to actually zoom out. I'm going to give it the section since it's only 30 something seconds, and we will create. So let's check out the new options it's made. Huh, okay, that's very interesting. I think it did the same thing. Okay, let's just check out this, because I don't know what's going on with this one. Let's check. That's super interesting. Oh, it's adding extra stuff in there, huh? Very interesting. Okay, it kind of added some leads. It didn't do just drums, which was very interesting. Let's try that one more time, because I'm not really sure what happened on that one. It was cool, but not necessarily what I'm looking for. So it's not song. Let's do drums. Let's just do. I'm just gonna do just rock, and let's create. So we'll give it 3 tries. Right now, I haven't heard anything that really made me feel like what I originally wrote was not as good as something that it's given me yet. So I'm hoping that it just blows me away. And I feel like, I mean, it's 80 BPM. It's a pretty standard riff. I mean, the song's in 4/4. It's nothing crazy. So I'm interested. This time we're just going to go straight into the combination here. We're not going to listen to the independent kind of stuff it's spitting out to the side. All right, I think it's ready to go. Let's check this one out. Last one. All right, we got something on that third one. So a couple cool ideas here. This one felt closest to what I originally wrote, but you can hear the differences in each one of these. It's really interesting. So as you listen to this soloed, I like that they added ghost notes in this one. That's one thing I did with my song originally. I added some cool ghost notes, some kind of weird off-time snares, and some fun stuff that it's kind of incorporating with the kick and snare. So let's listen to this isolated. That feels very Sleep Token-esque, which I think is kind of cool. I think that's an interesting take. Again, the song wasn't meant to have this lulled or really big chorus, so you can tell that people really like that when they're putting stuff into here, so I think that's what it probably takes from the most. Even though it's only 80 BPM, I'm still picking up the pace, right? So yeah, let's go ahead. Yeah, it's doing some cool stuff there. I really like some of what it's doing. Like that's a cool fill. Kind of goes into the triplet fill, and I like that it kind of goes into again the triplet with the chub. And I like that that's got an off-time China. I think that's kind of cool. And then going into, again, a 3/6 feel instead of the 4/4 on some of those kick parts. Just some cool ideas. Again, I don't think they work for the song. It's not really what I was going for. But I do like that they're kind of really throwing out some cool creative things. Now, again, a lot of this is coming from other people's influences, songs that people are uploading into this thing. It's learning. But it also, it does go to show that people are writing good stuff even when they're using, you know, platforms like this. They're writing cool ideas, they're getting it out, and they're doing a lot with it. Yeah, I don't love the way the drums sound, but I think it's a pretty cool idea. I think they did pretty good with this one. So I'd say this is the closest, but I don't know if I can say that I like it better. You guys can let me know down in the comments if you liked any of these tracks better than what I wrote. But yeah, for me, I'm going to have to chalk that one up to me. All right, so we're back in Suno Studio. We just did the song, and you've heard my drum solo, right? It's only about a 30-second drum solo. So we're going to see. I'm not even positive this is going to work, so I might automatically get a win on this one. But we're going to see if it will just make a drum solo. I'm not sure. Let's try and go, I don't know how. Let's just do like, is it 30 seconds, a minute 30? Let's go about, is that how long that is? I don't think that's even 30 seconds, to be honest. Don't think we're even going to get there. So let's go, I don't know, a minute 30 or whatever it says here. Let's check that out, and we'll see if we can create. Oh, it won't even let me do just drums, huh? Will it not? That's kind of interesting. Do I need a song for it to read? Non-silent range. Oh, so I actually have to create some kind of a song. That's interesting. I wonder if I can do a song and just type in drum solo. Again, I don't really know. Now this says non-silent range. Can I mean, it's not really giving me an option to do this. So I'm not sure how to go about this. It's not really even giving me an option to do a drum solo. Like, what if I do guitar? Can I? No. So, I mean, it says I have to have something here, but I have nothing to do. I mean, I don't have any kind of thing I can put in here, so let's do drum solo. Let's just see what happens when we create that. See if we get anything good. I don't know. This is very interesting. I'm not exactly sure how to get it to do just an isolated drum track by itself. I guess it's not really something that it's used to doing. So I'm interested. Alright, well, no, this has got music. It's way more of a rock song. How about we do this? We'll extract the stems. Let's do all detected stems. Don't really need the guitar solo here. Let's actually, before we even do that, let's make this a metal drum solo with lots of fast fills. Let's see what that comes up with. I think it's still going to be something that's instrumental. It's going to have a guitar and stuff like that. But if we get a chaotic enough drum track, we can at least look at it and see how well it's composed. The idea of the drum solo was not to actually have it simulate a drum solo as much as see how well it composes parts independently, not based on necessarily other instruments. Now, that might be something AI just hasn't been able to do yet. So that could be the case. Let's see, skating's still in front. I mean, it does really cool stuff here. This is just pure, I don't even know who this would be. This is just insane. It's just pure insanity. It's almost too much. Let's try this one. Like, this really badly wants to be like a Born of Osiris ripoff. And it's cool that people are even making stuff like this that it's getting from it, but it's not a drum solo. There's really no drum solo to this. It's all rhythm based. Well, I guess in that case, we can't actually have it create a drum solo. It's not even really possible, which kind of sucks. It definitely feels like that should be at least something it can do, but it's not going to let me do it. It will not give me a range to create that. I can't really create that. I can't really do anything, which is kind of crazy to me. I thought I'd be able to do something in the studio here that was just kind of creating something with nothing. And it will create, instrumentals over here that are kind of cool, but yeah, it kind of sucks that they're not really letting me, actually create a actual drum solo. Yeah, I guess that's just not what it's for. I guess that's the tool. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say I win on this one. So I think overall, what I've seen here out of the two activities we've kind of done here, or experiments, is that it's really good about creating. It's really good about going through a lot of different people's ideas, a lot of the input that it's had, and figuring out cool ideas that are similar to what a conditioned, seasoned person would probably write. Now, of course, if you're just going to put in an instrumental and tell it to remake it and do all this crazy stuff, you'll probably have the best of everything slapped together. But as a creative artist, if you really just want to add, an instrumental or do something like that, if you get really good at your skill, I think you can beat the AI, to be honest. I think from what I see here, just from the drum side, is that if you are in tune with an understanding of what the modern stuff is going on, what the techniques are going on, the style of music you're trying to play, have a broad range and variety of styles that you know and practice and understand, then I think you can really beat AI at its own game. So far, I mean, it seems like it is extremely useful. And to be honest, I think once you get up to a professional level, the experience, the years, and the emotion, and just the overall soul you get to bring out into your music is always going to kind of compete with this. I think it comes up with some really cool stuff, very impressive. But I think at some point it's not as it doesn't have as much feel as you would just being able to have full creative control over your songwriting or your instrumentation, if that's something that you practice. For example, the drum solo we made, it's really one that I add into a set. It's only about 25-30 seconds long. It's pretty quick. It's pretty simple. I've written longer drum solos, but I just wanted to see what something would do with a short one. But I guess AI is not quite to a point where it's going to be able to take the human aspect of a drum solo, the emotional side, the writing side, the way drums gradually build, and all of that, and it just can't necessarily figure that out yet, because there is definitely algorithms and formulas to this. As a drummer, I think AI is cool because drums have basically been the one instrument for 50 years that has basically been computerized, whether it be drum machines, whether it be synthesizers. You have nowadays programmed drums, which I use when I record. The one thing that you can't take away from using the tools is the knowledge it takes to make the tools the best. If you're going to do program drums, being a drummer really helps because you know how to program drums. You know what to program and the nuances that you should get out of the product. It takes a lot of meticulous, time to do and make right, but I think when you do, it's hard for the average listener to know when they're not listening to a real drummer, just because the real drummer is going to get behind a kit and play it like that. So as a tool, it's much cheaper, it's quicker, and it's a lot more effective to just be able to program drums. But that doesn't mean you just want to be able to take pre-written beats and slap them in a song. So I'm interested to see where this is going to evolve, but I gotta say, for now, I think I defeated Suno in these 2 experiments. So, do I think Suno is going to start taking the job of drummers? I don't believe so. I think this is really a cool tool to use as a producer, to get ideas, to put together demos. I think it's just going to be more of a production tool. But when it comes down to writing and when it comes down to, its limitations, I think right now it just can't do what a drummer can do. I think it can have a lot of cool ideas. It can actually take a lot of, what other ideas are out there and give you a lot of different options. I think that's really cool, and the customizability of it. To kind of, be able to play a bunch of different styles and things where, as a human being, you have to practice, you have to figure that stuff out on your own. It's not easy. It takes decades to get to that point to where you can just sit down and be fluid on a drum set. But, this is able to crank out ideas that you might not be able to play. And yeah, I mean, we live in the future. I think it's a really cool thing that this is even an option. However, I do think that if you're a professional or if you're really seasoned and you've been playing your instrument for 30-something years and you have a deep knowledge and you practice all the time, you will probably have better results than the AI, from a creative standpoint. I think it just takes a lot of time to do what it's trying to do, and if you can do it, you'll probably surpass it only because of its limitations right now. It's only able to learn from what is put into it, and I think what is actually being put into it really might not be as developed as some people who have been playing their instrument long enough or have a bit more of a in-depth look at the way they study or they practice. I think depending on how progressive of a drummer you are, how detailed you are with your rudiments, things like that, the AI is just not going to be able to pick up on that. So I think that's kind of invaluable, and it's something that really still takes you over the hill compared to what Suno can do. So it's a really cool experiment. I want to do more. So if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comments. And yeah, I'm going to try and do more videos like this because I'm interested. AI is kind of a hot topic, and it's obviously something that's going to be around probably for the next few decades at least, until the next thing comes around. It's going to be a new tool, very similar to how in the 70s we started getting drum machines. Now we have drums that you can program on the computer. And me as a drummer, I like to play live, but I'm also somebody who likes to learn the tools and understand what makes them useful, and kind of the fence that I stand on with what's too much of it and what's actually the acceptable way to use these things. I don't want to use it to create stuff that's not mine, but I also want to figure out a way to use it to make my process better. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, like I said, let me know what you thought down in the comments. Give me some more suggestions going forward, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace out.